Hello, my great musicians. How are you doing? You're welcome back to the channel. All right. So this video is all about interval. This is interval part two. If you have not seen part one, please go and see the first part of the video. So here we'll be talking about the qualities of interval. In the first part, we talked about the quantity. So what are qualities of interval? There are five. We have major, minor, perfect, augmented, and diminished. Okay, these five. So we are starting with the first one there, which is what? The major interval. How do you describe? How do we identify? How do we know an interval is major? All right, sit back as we kick off now. Here, I want to explain major interval. So this is the first quality I'll be explaining. So that's what we'll be discussing here in this video. So now, for you to understand the qualities of interval, don't forget I said we have five of them: major, minor, perfect, augmented, and diminished. But here we are talking about what? The major interval. So for major, here let's talk about major scales. All right. So for you to even understand it, you need a good understanding of a major scale. So let us use these three major scales as examples. Okay. So for C major is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, all white keys on the piano, all white keys. All right. If you compare it with G major has a sharp here. It has the seventh note raised. Okay. So on the piano, that is one of the black keys on the piano. If you want to play the scale of G major, you must play F sharp here, which is a black key on the piano. Do you understand? The same thing here, down here, F major. F major also has a flat on the fourth note, that is B flat. So either flat or sharp, they are the black keys on the piano. All right. So if you take away this sharp here, for instance, then we can't call this G major because it's going to sound off. It will not sound major. All right. Also, if you take away this flat here from F major, something will be missing there. So these guys, they are part of the family. But here for C major, it doesn't have a flat, neither does it have a flat, a sharp. So because all entirely are all white keys. So the approach, the method I want to use here, you must make sure we understand our major scale perfectly. And this rule says here, from the first note of the major to the second note. So from C to D, C is the first, D is the second. It says it's a major second. It's called a major second. How? Why? That is just it. Okay, just take it like that and get used to it. Okay. So first note to the second note is called a major second. So let me write that with a capital letter M, major, then second. Don't forget we use second, third. We don't say two, three. All right. So first note to the third note is a what? Is a major third. Uppercase M, then third. Okay. Now I'm going to skip the fourth and the fifth. I'm going to skip the fourth and the fifth, that is F, and that is first note to the fourth note and first note to the fifth note. Why am I skipping them? Because they are not major. We don't have major fourth and we don't have major fifth. I will tell you what they are later, okay? So let's keep the fourth and the fifth, guys. So let's move to the sixth. So the first note to the sixth note, which is A, that is what? A major sixth. Major sixth. Also, the first note to the seventh note, which is B, that one is what? A major seventh. You just have to accept this. Just like the way we accept that they say this is our eyes. Okay, it's our eyes. This is our nose. This is my hands. We accept. Okay, I want you to also accept that as well. So don't forget the formula says first note to second note, major second. First note to the third note, major third. We are talking about major scales. Okay, first note to the sixth note, major sixth. First note to the seventh note, major seventh. First note to the eighth note, I'm not talking about that now because that is not also called a major. We are talking about major. So in this method, we have four majors. What are they? Major second, major third, major sixth, and major seventh. Okay, the same thing here also from G to A, major second. From G to B, major third. We'll skip the fourth and the fifth again. We move from G to E, that is the sixth, major sixth. From G to F sharp, major seventh. Also, for F major, the same idea. F to G is what? Major second. F to A, major third. We skip B flat and C. F to D, major sixth, and F to E, major seventh. Do you understand this? I have some intervals on the board to be described. I have 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to describe these intervals. All right. But before we go there, I want to believe you understand your staff. Okay. But let us assume you don't understand your staff. Let us assume this is the first time we are dealing, okay, with your staff. You know, in the first video that I talked about the quantity, I did not put this guy there, the clef. Basically, we have two types of clef. The most common clef, we have the treble clef and the bass clef. The treble clef is also called the G clef, while the bass clef is also called F clef. So when we put the clef on the 5 line and spaces, it changes the name. So when we have the treble clef, as in this case, this is treble clef, on this staff, it becomes treble staff. Okay, so maybe I have to I have to explain the other one with the bass. But let's see the treble staff. So on the treble staff, line 1 is E, line 2 is G, line 3 is B, line 4 D, line 5 F. So we have an acronym for that. Very, very popular thing. Every good boy drinks Fanta. Okay, so the acronym helps us to memorize the letter for each line. Every good boy drinks Fanta. Then the first spaces, FACE, face. Some people will say Father Charles cooks egg. But if you look at them, you want to put them together, they are in alphabetical order. Line space. Line 1 is E. So alphabetically, after E, we have F. So line space E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so that is our treble staff. Okay, now the staff can also be extended. When we are extending the staff, we use this a short line called ledger lines. We can have ledger lines like this. So here, these are ledger line below treble staff. We can also have ledger lines above. So they are the extension of the staff. Okay, so if line 1 is E, okay, then below the line 1, we now have a space there, which is called a ledger space, before we now get to the ledger line. So what letter comes before E? So we should have that letter on this space, which will give us letter D. Then on the ledger line, what letter comes before D? That is C. So we can keep going down, and we can see going up to extend the staff. Okay. So here But we don't always write the ledger lines. It is only when we need the ledger lines we put the ledger lines. And when we don't need to write note on the ledger line, we don't have to what use the ledger lines. Okay, so let's take away this. So you now have a good knowledge of the treble staff, the lines and spaces. Now let's consider these intervals. Let me take this off. Okay, let me still leave it. So let's consider this. Interval 1, we have the notes here from line 2 up to what? To line 3. Line 2. What is line 2 of the staff? Line 2 is letter G. So this is the first note of the interval. So the first note of the interval is G. That means you have to what? Treat this interval as what? The scale of G major. Do I need to repeat myself? For this interval, don't forget that interval always involves 2 notes. Okay, I explained that in the first part of this video. Okay, so the notes here, this is G, line G, and line B. Why? Because on the treble staff, line 2 is G, line 3 is B. Okay, so any day, anytime is always like that all over the world. All right, so we have G to B. Since the first note of the interval is G, it means you are dealing with the scale of G major. And the scale of G major, what is the third note there? The third note is B. So G to B, that is first note to the third note. That gives us what? A major third. Therefore, this interval is a major third. Major third. Capital letter M. Do you understand? You even know, if you don't even understand the quality, you still understand the quantity, that from a line to the next line, as I explained in the first part of the video. All right, that is a third. From a line to the next line is a third. Now the quality now, G to B, the scale of G major, first note to the third note, that is major third. Okay, let's go to the second one, the second interval. The second interval, we have the note in the first space of the staff. Space 1. What is space 1? F. Okay, then we have the next one where on the line 4th, on the 4th line of the staff. What is 4th line of the staff? That's the letter D. So since the first note of the interval is F, therefore we are dealing with the scale of F major. So D, F to D, F to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First note to the 6th note of a major scale is a what? Is a major sixth. Therefore, our answer here is what? Major sixth. I hope you're following. Number 3, we have the first note is in the third space. Third space is what? Letter C. And the second note is what? On line 4, D. So C to D. That means we are dealing with the scale of what? C major. C to D. First note to the second note. That is what? Major second. Major second. I hope you get it's getting clearer, right? Now the fourth one is space 1 again. That is F. And line 2, G. That is F to G. In the scale of F major, F to G is a what? Tell me. Correct. Major second. You are a good student. You are following. Major second. And the last interval, where do we have this guy? First space again, which is F. That means we are dealing with the scale of. You are a good student. Come on, I love you. You are good. You are a sharp guy. So F. So what? What is this guy here? Space 4. Space 4 here. Letter E. F to E in the scale of what? F major. F to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First note to the 7th note is a major 7th. So here This is a major seventh. You see, this is how you know your major intervals. It's as easy as that. Don't forget, these are just three. We apply this to all the scales in music, to all the major scales in music. Do you get that now? So if you have any question, do not hesitate to drop it in the comment section. And don't forget to like and what? Subscribe. And also, share the video now. And don't be stingy. Thank you. I see you in the next video.